welcome to Mike Drops the Mic. I'm Mike Lineman. Today we are in volume 3 of the Peak Degens NFL playoff picture and predictions. I'm joined with Anthony DeTullio and Brandon Lesh. As always, Anthony, how you doing today, man?
Good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Hey, we got a big weekend coming up here. We got the AFC Championship game, NFC
Oh,
Championship game.
Mike. You don't have to end it or restart anything. I fucking hold on. I'll be right back. I forgot something.
Oh God.
I can't wait for him to come back. Oh man, this is a big change.
He just didn't put his backdrop off. I think he's gonna. Oh
No.
my God.
Ah.
No,
All right. I think I'm ready now.
not the Patty Mahomes
Well, do you want
jersey.
me to? Do I start all over here?
No. We're fine. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
I ask you. I say, Anthony, how's the AFC Championship game? How's the NFC Championship game? Buddy comes back. He's got a Patrick Mahomes jersey. I'm a little surprised it wasn't Jackson Mahomes, but he's got Patrick Mahomes on
Wow.
today. And I guess that has you feeling some kind of way about the Chiefs this weekend, maybe, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I'm never betting against Patty.
Well, speaking of betting against Patty, we might have a guy who might be doing it. Brandon Lesh. How you feeling today? I
Feeling
mean,
great.
we got a big weekend coming up. Is there a chance you'll be thinking against the Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs, or what are you thinking?
There's a chance at everything in life, Mike. You never know what's gonna go on. There's a
Well,
chance I do. There's a chance I don't. We have to see. And frankly, I got to make up my mind in the next 10 minutes. So that's where I'm at.
well, if you got to make up your mind in the next 10 minutes, it sounds to me like you need some convincing. So who
And
better
I'm
to
right
convince
ahead of
you?
you. I'm right ahead of you. I do need some convincing.
Well, who better to
Oh,
convince you? Oh, there we go.
yo.
That's how. There it is. All right. So, okay, well, are you gonna dedicate that shot to anybody or what?
I'm dedicating this shot to Jameer Gibbs anytime touchdown.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Cheers.
Hey, I'll
I
drink.
like it.
I don't have
Get this,
I don't have my shot glass with me. Though.
this started. You got a brew with you?
I don't.
Anthony, you got a brew?
No, I'm sober.
I'll tell you why I don't have a brew
There.
brand. The next time when we have a 3-leg parlay that hits, then I'll have a reason to drink alcohol. Because right now I'm
I'm with
drinking my
you.
own
Truly.
sadness, the fact that we haven't hit one of these 3-leg parlays. Whenever we hit one, I'll be in here next time with my sunglasses on, probably no shirt, just like you like to do. And I'll be absolutely drinking from the bottle. But until that time comes, we got to lock one of these 3-leg parlays down, boys. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anthony, start us off with the AFC Championship game. You got your Patrick Mahomes jersey on. Tell me what you like first off. Before you get into the player props, how do you feel about this game going forward? They just came off a win, beating Buffalo. A lot of people thought the Bills were going to come away with that. Chiefs came up on top. How do you feel about that game in Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are professional chokers. I respect Josh Allen after Sean McDermott made those comments, about a certain group. They went what 6-0, made the playoffs,
What
and
group? What
made a
group?
little bit of a run there.
What group are you talking about?
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but a
Brandon, do you
certain
know
a
what group
certain
he's talking about?
I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, honestly.
either way,
Independent research on
in it,
Sean
in it, in it,
McDermott's way
it,
to motivate a team.
an explosive group. We'll give them that.
Explosive
Uh,
history of explosions.
oh yes, very, very. But they went 6-0, made a little run in the playoffs, but you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. That team pulled together. I think that's the best football they've played all year. It was a great game, and sucks to be Tyler Bass, but a team's got to lose. And like I said, the Bills are professional chokers, so we're moving on.
Well,
Was he talking about 9/11?
yeah, we're talking about 9/11. I can tell by the way his face was. You're just waiting to look it up. Your face got about 2 inches from the camera.
I never heard nothing about but that is an explosive group. It is. That is.
They have a history of it, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm actually, now that we're talking about it, I gotta look up exactly what he said. Brandon, how do you see what I'll go back to Anthony. Anthony, how do you see the Chiefs matchup this week? I mean, right now they're the dogs. They're the dogs playing the Ravens. Ravens are red hot. Absolutely. We're tied at halftime. Some kind of a speech at halftime, and Lamar Jackson comes out and looks like a whole new quarterback who can actually win in the playoffs. Anthony, do you think the Chiefs can hold off the red hot Ravens at Baltimore this weekend?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, even though, like I said, the Chiefs played their best football last week, it is a whole new beast. Lamar Jackson, front runner for MVP, and he's still red hot. Him and his team still red hot. So it's going to be tough. You know, they got an explosive offense. They have a terrific defense, you know, as exemplified last week. But the Chiefs are also terrific at making adjustments on the fly and especially after halftime. So it'll be a great game for sure. I think it'll be a lot closer than what the Ravens did to the was it the Texans? Jesus Christ. Yeah, the fucking frauds of the NFL. Oh my God, I blanked there. Yeah, it'll be a lot closer than that game for sure. So I love watching this.
All live on Mike Drops
This
the Mic.
podcast is going to need that little E in the corner for sure. All right. Anthony, stop messing around here. Who do you think wins the game, and what do you think the score is going to be?
Oh man, it's going to be so close. I'm taking the Chiefs 30-28.
You got Chiefs 30-28?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any player props you like in this matchup? Let's start off. How about we do this? Let's give our predictions for this game actually first. I'm going to come to you, Brandon, and then we'll take the Chiefs, make our Chiefs player props. Then we'll look at the Ravens, make their player props. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Brandon. Chiefs.
I like the idea. However, my player props are just for each game. I don't have each team.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll let you all talk during that part. But Ravens versus Chiefs. The line's at plus 3.5 for Kansas City. I like that, but we're talking about the outcome. We're not talking about degenerate stuff just yet.
Money line.
Yeah. I still don't know. Like, I want to see the Ravens win this game, not because I like the Ravens. I hate the Ravens, but the Chiefs have just been too much for me, man. You got Jackson Mahomes, you got Taylor Swift, you got a bunch of stuff going on. You know, it's been like I don't like seeing that stuff in the Super Bowl, you know? I want to see somebody end their season. I want to see Taylor Swift get upset. I want to see Jackson Mahomes post a TikTok if he's not banned yet about just losing. And I want to see the Ravens win this game. And that takes a lot from me coming from a Browns fan. There's an ounce of me that wants to say that I hope the Ravens lose 50-0 just because they're the Ravens. But got to be honest with you. Biased aside, I do like Lamar Jackson a lot. I have for the last 2 years with what he's been doing. And now he's playing incredible when you surround him with talent like Zay Jones, OBJ. Mark Andrews is coming back this week. They got Gus Edwards, Justice Hill in the backfield. They have players, Roquan Smith on defense. Like, they have a lot of good players, and obviously Harbaugh has showed what he could do as a coach. So there's not an issue in that regard. So I got to take the Ravens. I think it's going to be a very close game according to that spread. I'm going 32-34 with the Ravens coming up on top.
Wow. Okay. Very close nail biter there. Yeah, the problem with the Chiefs is if they win this game, they might kick Usher off the halftime show and put Taylor Swift in there. That is a real possibility. That seems
You
like
know, Mike,
something.
that gave me a deal when you said kicked. I'm changing that score right now. I'm
Okay.
going 32-35 with Justin Tucker hitting the game-winning field goal in overtime.
Wow.
In
35-32.
overtime.
Ravens take it with Justin Tucker.
Overtime. And
Overtime.
he
All
and
right.
he hits a 55-yarder.
If anybody can do it,
Yo.
it's Tucker. Anybody can do it.
Yep.
It's him. Um, I think what the Chiefs have done so far in the playoffs is pretty extraordinary, just because, like what Anthony was saying in the past, the Chiefs are a playoff team. I doubted them last week. I thought the Bills were going to take it. Bills did not get the job done. They choked once again. Um, will we see I don't know if I see the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl this season. If they do, I'm gonna be all over it saying the script writers wanted that to happen. But I said last week I gave the terrible statistics with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and I said give me a reason to pick these guys. And last week they gave me a reason to pick them. In the past, they've never given me a reason to pick them in the playoffs. Now they showed up, they proved it, and that's why I have the Ravens winning 24-20 in the AFC Championship game. I think Lamar Jackson gets it done. I think he makes a trip to the Super Bowl. And yeah, I think that the Chiefs will keep it a close game, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull it off. But again, if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. This game is a toss up, and the Chiefs are tough, but I think the Ravens are going to get the job done, and you're going to see Lamar Jackson finally getting the Super Bowl here. So that's our AFC Championship game. It sucks, guys. We only got 3 games of football left. So if we're not talking AFC, we got to talk NFC. So NFC Championship game, we have the Detroit Lions, the underdogs, the storybook tale of the NFL, traveling to San Francisco to play the juggernaut 49ers, who almost lost to the Packers. Would have been an unbelievable upset. Jordan Love and the Packers almost pulled it off. But here we are, 49ers hosting the NFC Championship game against the Lions. Brandon, what do you think? Do you think the Lions can keep the storybook tale alive? Or is Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, are they going to crush the Lions' dreams and end the season for them?
Yeah, I like Dan Campbell. I remember one of the first episodes we did. I said Coach of the Year was between him and Kevin Stefanski. To be completely honest with you, I would give it to him over Kevin Stefanski. Not saying Kevin Stefanski hasn't done a great job, but what Dan Campbell has done in Detroit is absolutely unbelievable, taking this team from a laughing stock up to playing in an AFC championship game, possibly the Super Bowl. So I love Dan Campbell and what he's doing. The 49ers are a tough task, though. You got Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle. They got weapons. What concerns me about the 49ers is my dynasty quarterback, Brock Purdy. I like Brock Purdy. I really do. I think he's going to have a very good tenure in the NFL, but he didn't look great the last 2 weeks. He's kind of been relying on his superstars to help him out. His stats haven't been there. He's doing enough to get by, but he's no 4 touchdowns a game quarterback like he was during the regular season. With that being said, I'm taking the 49ers to win the game. And unfortunately, I have to believe this Super Bowl is going to be the Ravens and the 49ers. However, I'm taking the Lions to cover the spread with the final score being 31-36. I like what Detroit's doing, but unfortunately, I just think that the 49ers are going to be a little bit too much for Detroit at this time, and I'm taking them over the Lions.
We all love Dan Campbell. We've talked about it numerous times. I'd give him Coach of the Year without question. I think D'Amico Ryans is another guy worthy of it with Kevin Stefanski, but I think that, Dan Campbell's the guy. However, I said at the beginning of the season, my pick to win the Super Bowl was the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm going to stick with them, man. I got to keep the 49ers dream alive. I think that what the Lions have done making it to the NFC Championship game has been incredible. And I think there's brighter days ahead for them. I think that the 49ers last year, They got absolutely crushed in the NFC Championship game with injuries. We saw what happened with Debo. We saw what happened with Brock Purdy. Couldn't even throw. Their backup, what was it, Josh Johnson? Concussion. Purdy hurt his tricep. I think he's coming out for blood. This is a 49ers team that I think was good enough to win the Super Bowl last year and should have won the Super Bowl last year. Now they're healthy. Now they're ready to go. This game has been the only thing on their mind for a whole year. And I think they win this game 35-24. I think they win, and I think the Lions, congratulations on making it this far, but I think their days are done. Anthony, what do you think? Do you think
No, hold on, Anthony. Before you go.
There you go. Hey,
Jesus.
Drink that one for Dan. That one's for Dan right there.
I lied. Give me the Detroit Lions to win this game. Send them to the Super Bowl. Give me the Lions versus the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I'm tired of Detroit getting spat on with Dan Campbell doing his thing. Give me Detroit in the Super Bowl and give me them versus the Ravens. It's what America wants. It's what the script writer wants. And I don't want to see the Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, I love you. I'll have you next year in my dynasty league. You're not getting the Super Bowl this year. All right. You're young. You might get it next year, maybe the year after that. Give it to Jared Goff. Give it to Dan Campbell. Give it to damn David Montgomery, who's a damn workhorse back there. Little 5th round pick, maybe like 15th round pick in my fantasy draft. Man scoring touchdowns like I've never seen before. Give me the Lions winning 31-36. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, I was just going to say your opinions seem to change like the wind here blowing, but all right. So everything you said about the 49ers is out.
I can't tell you what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was going to say everything you just said about the 49ers completely out the window. Now Brandon is completely sold on Dan Campbell and the Lions. He is how many shots deep right now? And he
at least 5. I've taken 2 on air, and I took 3 with my roommates before this, so at least 5.
So Brandon's running with the underdogs, the people's champion, Dan Campbell. Anthony, will you be joining Brandon in the Lions fashion, or are you going to be joining me with the 49ers? What do you think?
Oh, boy. This episode's been full of plot twists. I'll say that.
Wait, make sure Brandon doesn't want to interrupt again here first.
No, I am honestly, Mike, I was gonna say it like after you were done talking to me, I was gonna say like, oh, I lied, but I didn't want to cut you off in your spiel, so I had to wait until you were done.
That's so nice of you, so thoughtful.
That's
Anthony,
what I.
Go ahead. Sorry, Brandon was interrupting again. Anthony, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is another good matchup. The Lions have been on a roll. Their offense is I think as strong as ever, but their defense is shaky. Baker Mayfield last week tore him up, and if he didn't throw an interception like Jordan Love did, I mean, we'd be seeing a whole different matchup here. So with that being said, they're going up against the 49ers, who have an outstanding defense. Struggled a little bit against the Packers, start off with there in the rain, but carried a little bit by the superstars on the offense. So I think I'm going to go with the 49ers, Mike. I don't see them being stopped by this Lions defense. They might score, they might drive and get a couple field goals, but I don't see the defense stopping Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I don't see it happening. Hope for better weather, maybe a little bit more of an electric game, but give me the 49ers 35-24 over the Lions.
Dude, that's what I had too. I had 35-24. That's what I said.
Oh, I completely forgot. Honestly, I was more focused on Brandon interrupting everybody. So
are you telling me I should put my entire rent on the 49ers to win 35-24 this week? Is that what we're
now? This isn't betting advice. Absolutely, FanDuel sponsor us, but
bro,
I think so.
We need a sponsor.
Baby steps, Brandon. Oh, you know one way to get a sponsor though? We got
By
to
getting
some
picked.
player props. If we hit some
Right.
props,
Right.
we keep these running. The sponsors will come running to us. So, Brandon, you said you had yours all kind of combined. Um, do we want to take it game by game? Do you have a game like is your combined parlay?
I have a Ravens Chiefs same game parlay and a Lions 49ers same game parlay. And I also have one pick that I like out of all the props that I'm going to save for our
Okay.
Mike Drops the Mike bankroll builder. And I got a little special edition Brandon's bankroll builder at the end here.
Okay. Well, let's do the AFC Championship game first. Brandon, do you want to take your bets just for the AFC Championship game? What do you like? What are a couple props maybe that you like in this game?
So the key to these games this week, fellas, is doing what we can. All right, we can't be reaching. We can't be looking for those juicy plus 800 odds. I know they look good, but the fact of the matter is, these games are way too close for us to be trying to pull. I don't know, for us to try to be going to those high odds is what I'm trying to get at. So, with that being said, I got a 4-leg parlay plus 220 odds. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Just plus 220.
Oh, I was expecting a lot
I thought
higher,
you were still
honestly.
going to go, but with that being said, I have a plus 1,000.
Damn, that would have been hilarious. I should have done that. No,
All
but
right, cut,
I do
cut. We'll
have a
redo it.
reasonable. I do. I do have a reasonable plus 220, and the reason I have this is strictly because I got bent over last week in the gambling world between the games and between Sean Strickland losing, and frankly, Mike, I got to talk to you on the side. We got to do a podcast with that Sean Strickland fight because that was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That was absolute bullshit, honestly. That was
It was. Anyway, that's not why we're here. That's not why we're on Mike
That's a
Drops the Mic.
conversation for another day.
It is. It is. We're on to the player props. So here's my 4-leg parlay. Isaiah Pacheco over 49.5 rushing yards. I love the way this guy runs. I love the way Isaiah Pacheco runs. The dude just looks like a Clydesdale running down the field, man. Unbelievable. Runs angry. I think he'll be able to get 49.5. I know the Ravens defense is tough. I know they allow one of the worst yards per game in the NFL, but I truly believe that Pacheco will be able to find his way to get 50 yards. Next, what I have is Lamar Jackson over 49.5 rushing yards. You saw what he could do the last week with on the ground. The Chiefs defense, the D line isn't. I know they got Chris Jones, but the D line isn't. It isn't elite. That's not what the Kansas City Chiefs are known for. They're not known for their D line. They're not really known for their linebacker core. And that's when Lamar strives. If you don't have somebody, and I hate to keep bringing it back to the Browns, but it's the first one that comes to my head right now. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he shadows Lamar like he's his shadow actually. And when I think about the Chiefs defense, I don't see somebody who could do that with Lamar Jackson. So I think he's going to be able to scramble outside of the pocket. I think they're going to have some design quarterback runs. I think he's going to be able to get 50 yards. And then real simple from here, Zay Flowers over 24.5 minus I think 220 or 300. Real simple bet here. Zay's one of their number one targets. I mean, Andrews is coming back, so we don't know how that's going to affect anything, but I do like Zay, and I think his yards after catch are very big. I could see him catching a 10-yard out and, making a move and turning it into a 20-yard gain. So I think that's a lock. And Travis Kelce over 49.5 passing yards. He balled out last week. He's showing us that he's still that guy. He is a receiving tight end, and they have been looking to him more and more in this postseason. And I'm going with over 49.5. Simple, plus 220 odds. $25 brings you to $80. Lock it in, put it in the books, double it if you want. That's what I'm going with.
Brandon, I like it. I got a quick question for you. When you're talking about Pacheco over 49.5 and Lamar over 49.5, you tease those lines down, correct?
Correct. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, both of those as well as Travis Kelce's lines are both teased down to under 50.
Correct. Because I bring this up because I have two picks for this game. I got one for the Chiefs and one for the Ravens that I feel pretty good about. These are not teased down, and it's funny because both of my picks were in your parlay. My first
love
one,
it.
I got Isaiah Pacheco over 63.5 yards. Okay. So if you want to take the over, that's set at minus 110. That's the standard 63.5 yards. Let me tell you guys something right here. Pacheco had 97 yards last week. Okay. In the last 3 games, he's gone for 89 or more yards. And in the last 8 games, 6 of those times, he's gone for 60 or more. So we're talking pretty good odds here for Pacheco running hard in the playoffs. The thing about the Ravens, too, I didn't realize this, but the Ravens have allowed 95 yards to running backs on average since week 6 of this NFL football season. 4.7 yards per carry. That's the 4th worst in the NFL. What that means is Pacheco's line is set at 63.5. They're allowing 95 yards as a defense on average. So I'm all over Isaiah Pacheco over 63.5. Like I said, he hit 89 in the last 3 games, 60 in 6 of the last 8 games. Isaiah Pacheco over 63.5. The other one I also have that you mentioned, I have Lamar Jackson rushing over 66.5. That's what it's set at, over 66.5. You're talking about Brown's linebacker being able to spy the quarterback, and I also don't see that for the Chiefs. I think Lamar Jackson's going to be able to run the ball. He might be able to throw the ball some, but I think his rushing is a line that I think he'll comfortably be able to get over. So those are my 2 picks for the AFC Championship game. Anthony, you got anything for the Chiefs-Ravens game? Anything with Mahomes, maybe?
Not with Mahomes, but it involves Mahomes.
All right, let's
I
hear
think
it.
the game's going to be. I think the game's going to be close, and I think the Chiefs might be playing a little bit from behind down the stretch, so they're going to be throwing the ball. That's why I think the line is set lower for Isaiah Pacheco as well. I think the Ravens are going to be out ahead a little bit, and it's going to come down to the wire, so they're going to be throwing, and that's why I have Rashee Rice over 50 yards receiving.
Okay. Rashee Rice over 50. Is that over under? Is that what it's set at, or did you tease that up? Down?
No, yeah, that's teased down.
Okay. Do you have any other picks for that game or just Rashee Rice?
Yeah, I got Lamar Jackson over rushing yards. I agree with you guys. I mean,
Wow.
Nobody's going to be spying him from the Chiefs, so I'm taking his over.
So all 3 of us are taking the over for Lamar Jackson rushing. However, Brandon did have it teased down to 49.5 with his parlay at plus 220. That seems pretty tasty. As Brandon likes to say, you put a little measly 25 bucks on that, see what you can do. So next we got the NFC Championship game. I have a few more picks in this game, but I'm going to turn it right back to Anthony. Anthony, do you have some good picks here for the NFC Championship game between the Niners and the Lions?
I think so, Mike. The Lions have been utilizing Jahmyr Gibbs more and more and more, and even more into the postseason here. He had a great week last week. I think he's going to keep that going. So I'm taking him at over 50 rushing yards. You know what? Nah, screw it. We're taking him over 60 rushing yards. So I think he's going to have a great game. He might even score. We'll see. On the 49ers side, I'm taking, and I called this last week, ask Jacob Neer, Christian McCaffrey, 2+ touchdowns.
Wow. You're taking 2+ touchdowns. Do you know what the odds are for that one?
I think it's plus 170 when I looked at it.
Plus 140 right now. Wow.
Plus 140 right now.
2 touchdowns plus 140. You know what that tells me? That tells me a guy who is absolutely electric. He can score 2 touchdowns and the money still almost be even. That's a generational talent. That's absolutely insane. I've never seen a line so low for 2+ touchdowns at plus 140. That's incredible. Anything else, Anthony, or we're going with those 2?
No, those are the two solid lock picks, Mike. That's it.
Brandon, pouring a shot. Is this another one for Dan Campbell, or is this one for Brock Purdy?
This one's for the Dallas Cowboys and their shitty ass fucking season.
Big chokers.
All right. All right. So we're talking about the NFC.
Yeah. Cowboys are not in it.
So again, I got a 4-leg parlay, and we're keeping it simple. That's my theme this week. We're taking it easy. We're keeping it simple. Plus 160. That's all these 4 legs get you. But that's all you need, really. I got Jared Goff throwing for over 1.5 touchdowns. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me that that game is not going to be a shootout. You're telling me the Lions are going to be, up 30 points and Goff won't have 2 touchdowns? Or you're going to tell me the 49ers are going to be up 14 and Goff ain't going to be slanging it? Out of your mind. Plus 1.5. Over 1.5 is what I meant. Second, what I have. Some might call this a coward pick. I don't. I call it smart. I'm teasing McCaffrey down. I know. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm teasing him down. Do I think he's going to get a lot of yards? Yes. I don't care. I'm teasing him down to over 50 rushing yards. I'm playing it safe. I'm unapologetic about it. And if you have a problem with it, talk to Mike Drops the Mic, because he ain't talking to me about it. All right. Thirdly, I have Sam Laporta over 24.5 passing yards, receiving yards, that is.
There it is.
Yep. Receiving yards this game. You saw what he did last week. I think he had like four catches in the first quarter or something like that. And that might be another sneaky prop this week, is look at what his receptions are set at. It's either 3.5 or 4.5. I can't remember. But that might be a little sneaky parlay right there. But I'm going with Laporta over 24.5, teasing it down. I think it's going to be a good idea. Lastly,
sorry, I just want to throw this in here real quick and interrupt, just like you like to. Laporta over under 5.5. Interesting line.
Vegas be in our pockets, bro. Damn.
I think they just changed those as soon as they heard you say that. They just changed.
Golly, bro. My God.
Yeah.
They can't give me 24 hours to decide on a 4.5? Like, geez. Anyway, last leg. Teasing Amon-Ra St. Brown down to over 49.5. Do I think he's going to have more? Absolutely. And if you're feeling risky, and if you didn't take a beating from last week's games and Sean Strickland losing via decision, then go ahead, tease it up a little bit. But I took a beating, and frankly, I didn't feel good about it. And I need a win before I go into this Super Bowl, because I already know I'm going to drop a lot of units on this Super Bowl, and I would like some of this. I'd like to get a win this week so I can go into next week feeling good. So I'm taking Amon-Ra over 49.5. Teasing them down. McCaffrey, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Goff, all-star players. $25 wins you 65. You double your money. It's plus 160 odds. Lock it in. Both of them.
Hey, keeping the ball rolling, starting a little momentum, that's something you got to do heading into the Super Bowl. We can't be heading into the Super Bowl with our backs against the wall and a frown.
No, we can't.
No, we got to get a win. Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to do that for you. I'm going to tell you some of my picks. What's that?
I had to get a charger. My phone's on 10%.
There you go. I'm going to give you a couple.
Having the phone die on mic drop. Oh,
yeah, that's a bad look if you do that. A couple picks here for that game that I have. I have Brock Purdy over 274.5. That's where the line set, 274.5. Like Brandon talked about, can't look me in the eye either and say that game's not going to be a shootout. The Lions defense bleeds like crazy. Their cornerbacks cannot cover. And what do I mean by that? The Lions defense has allowed the most passing yards to quarterbacks for the last 2 months. Okay. Let me read you something real quick. Last week, they played Baker Mayfield. He threw for 349. The week before that, Matt Stafford, 367. The week before that, Vikings, Nick Mullins, 396. The week before that, Dak, 345. The week before that, Nick Mullins again, 411. Brock Purdy's at 274 and a half. Okay. Purdy's coming back from injury. He didn't make it to the Super Bowl last year. Give me Brock Purdy over 274 and a half. Now, with Brock Purdy going over 274 and a half, that means he's got to be throwing the ball to somebody. And I'm going to make that person George Kittle. Kittle's at 61 and a half. I have Kittle going over 61 and a half. I think Deebo Samuel, he's so injured, and who knows? I think it's game time decision right now. So I think Brandon Ayuk's going to get a lot of good looks, but Kittle has this special connection over the middle with Brock Purdy. So I have Kittle over 61 and a half. Flipping it over to the Lions. Again, shootout. I have Jared Goff over 255 and a half. That's the line I have over that. In the last 6 straight games, Jared Goff has thrown for 257 or more. And it's set for 255 and a half. They're going to be playing from behind, we might be saying. Give me that line all the time. The last one I have for this game is Jameson Williams over 28 and a half receiving yards. Now, Williams is like their third receiver on that team, but the line is set at 28 and a half. Last week, he had 4 targets for 72 yards or 78 yards, and he's had 40 yards in 6 of the last 8 games, and it's set at 28 and a half. So I have Williams getting the over 28 and a half on that one. So those are my picks for that game. Don't have those parlayed. Those are just straight up, but you can do that yourself and figure that one out. So we have our AFC Championship game set. We have our NFC Championship game set. But what would we be without the special edition of the Brandon's Bankroll Builder? Brandon, what's that bankroll builder look like there for you?
Viewers, welcome back to the Bankroll Builder. I know we haven't been so successful the last couple weeks, but as a wise man once said, the minute you stop digging is the minute you stop finding. All right? We need to get back into this rhythm. And I know you don't want to throw another unit on a Brandon's Bankroll Builder. It hasn't been hidden. I get that. What I'm asking for is a fourth of a unit. That's all I'm asking for. And you'll see why. The odds are there. All right. We have 2 games this weekend. And I had somebody knock on my window last night around 3 a.m. And I was like, why would somebody be doing this? I live in an HOA. Don't they have people for this? But that's besides the point.
John McDermott.
I went over to the window and I opened it up and I said, what is going on? What is this? And they said, I listened to Mike Drops the Mic last week. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, it's 3 a.m. Please leave me alone. And they didn't leave me alone. And they said, I know what's going to happen this week. And I said, what do you mean? We have picks every week. They said, I know who's scoring the first touchdown in each of these games this week. And if you parlay them together, the odds will tremendously increase. And I'm still really sleeping at this time. So I'm kind of groggy. I said, you know what, man? Like, I'm not really interested. I got to go to work in a few hours. Like, it's really cold, man. Can I please just go to bed? And he grabbed me by my hand and he pulled me towards him. And I looked into his eyes and I can see that this man was serious about what he was telling me. So he told me 2 names and I dreamt about these names all day and I was thinking about it. And I said, how could this go wrong? That's what I said to myself. And I spent all day thinking about this. I've taken I've taken a good amount of shots and like, I still can't come up with an idea of how this can't happen. So, what I'm going with I can't be slamming the desk like that. Y'all see what happens. Enough of me. What I'm going with. Isaiah Pacheco. First touchdown in the Kansas City game. Next game, Christian McCaffrey. First touchdown in the games. Both running backs. I assume in the Pacheco game it's going to be a pass interference. Ball down at the 5-yard line. They're going to run it in. $5. You spend that on parking when you go out downtown. $5 to win 140 plus 2,700 odds. Lock it in. Bring it back to you, Mr. Drops the Mic.
Brandon, I really enjoyed your story there, and you forgot to mention one crucial detail, though. You forgot to mention who that man was, and I think the answer is Roger Goodell. I think that was Roger Goodell in your window.
So, it was either Roger Goodell or Jesus Christ himself. I didn't get a good look.
Hey,
but one of them know the
one
answers.
In the same when it comes to picking.
I've never seen them both in the same room, actually. So it might be either the same person.
And I'll rip a Tito shot to that.
So, all right. So we got our special edition, Brandon's Bankroll edition, Bankroll Builder. That leaves only one thing left. That's the Peak Degens Bankroll Builder, right? We need a name for it. We need a name. That gets it done, though. So what we do is each of one of us, we have not hit this yet, but hey, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to start a beautiful bet. So we're each picking.
I have a good feeling about this week. I do.
I do too. I have a good feeling. So, Brandon, if you've got a good feeling, do you want to give us the one leg of the bet that you feel the strongest about?
Oh, you want a measly leg? That's all you want?
I want to hear your leg. I want to hear which one you're going with.
Give me a second.
Anthony, you want to start?
No, I'm good. I just needed a second. So Anthony already kind of dabbled on this a little earlier, and I agree with everything that man said. My one leg in this parlay is Rashee Rice over 59.5 receiving yards. I think every week he's becoming more and more of Kansas City's, maybe I don't even want to say number one target, but I mean, it's looking that way. And what he does with the ball is unbelievable. Once he catches it, I mean, the way his speed and the way he can make people miss. In this big of a game where I can see this game being a shootout with Patrick Mahomes possibly even having over 300 passing yards, I can see Rashee Rice at least getting 50.
Anthony?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm turning it over to you, Anthony. What's going to be your leg pick for this game?
All right. I'm going to go with, I think Brandon said something about it, but I'm going with the Sun God for my pick. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think they're going to be playing from behind, but I also think Jared Goff's going to be on target, and I think Sun God is going to get away from his coverage. So I'm going with Amon-Ra over 70 receiving yards.
Amon-Ra over 70 receiving yards. I love it. I love Sun God. We both do. And you can't have Sun God go over 70 yards without somebody throwing the ball to him. So for my pick, I'm going Jared Goff. I'm going the pick I gave about Jared Goff. Like we said, I think they might be playing from behind. And if that's the case, give me Jared Goff over 255.5. So, like I said, 6 straight games. He's thrown for 257. So let's keep that train going and get this parlay locked in. I'm gonna put in the odds for it now. In doing so, Anthony, can you give me a closing message here before I turn it over to Brandon to wrap us up?
Oh boy. Scared money don't make money, Mike. Again, this is not gambling advice. FanDuel, please sponsor us. That'd be sick. I almost dropped an F-bomb there. That would be sick.
Drop the fuck. Do it.
Keep the fuck. Keep it all.
Keep it all. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Brandon, what's your message? You got a closing message here for us before I give the odds for our parlay?
Honestly, this is one of the times that I didn't come prepared with a closing message. But what I will say is I know we have done the viewers wrong at home before, but I will make certain if I have to go down to Detroit and suit up myself, we will make this 3-leg parlay happen. Put your rent on it. And if you don't get it, just talk to your landlord and hopefully he understands. Go ahead, Mike.
All
Pay
right.
him, pay him another way.
Yeah. Find another
That's
method.
true.
So we put in our Rashee Rice. Right now it's set at over 60.5 yards. So we put that in. We put it Jared Goff over 255.5. We put in Amon-Ra St. Brown at 70 plus. That gives you odds of plus 331. A measly $25 bet will put you at $82.96. If you pay $1,000 in rent, that puts you at $3,318. That would get the job done. So again, everybody who's watching, mom, dad, everybody else, thank you. Thanks for tuning in with the Peak Degens here. And until next time, hopefully we get a little momentum going into the Super Bowl. Cheers, boys.